Another great question from one of our viewers, Kathy Jo Snyder. She asks, when did hoof trimming start? Well, I think that's an answer that I'm not going to have an exact date for. But what I will say is between the 50s and the 80s, that's the 1950s and 1980s, a lot of books were published and research was done in that time on hoof ailments and hoof trimming and procedures. So a lot of it came to light somewhere in there. But I mean, probably as far back as cattle go, if somebody was able to restrain a foot to correct an extremely bad hoof or an extremely long toe, there was probably hoof trimming of some sort. Now, to elaborate, I'm not just going to make that my answer. To elaborate, over the past, I'm going to say 4 to 5 decades, so the last 40, 50 years, especially now, we as a whole, and I say we as in food producers of cattle, using cattle, have pushed the limits of what a cow can do. So a lot of times when I'm speaking to a group of people, I will say, how much milk is a cow supposed to make? I'll let the audience say, and usually say 60, 70, 80, 100 pounds, whatever. The correct answer is enough milk to feed a calf. That is the correct answer. So whatever we as humans have asked the cow to do past that has caused a reaction. So for every action, there's a reaction. I think that's what, Newton's law or something like that. But anyways, from what I understand and looking back, there was a lot of dry hay fed. There was a lot of just a little scoop of very simple grain. Now we have highly fermented feeds, of which those feeds are so rich, they're rocket fuel for these cows to produce the product that we require from them and the volume we require from them. So with that being said, hoof trimming has become a big player, because along with asking the cow to produce that milk, hoof is growing faster. The cows are milking more, they're on their feet more, they're asking to do a job more or less than just lay under a shade tree. So with all that being said, the hooves grow. They are put in positions to become lame, and we are forced to intercept that lameness by maintenance trimming cattle at proper intervals and proper time, which is fully acceptable, and the cows do great with it. And it's a very logical thing, but a lot of times there is a generational gap between the way it used to be done and the way it is done now. Farmers that are in their 60s and 70s and 80s versus farmers that are now in their teens and 20s and 30s, to where they're like, hey, this is a whole different ball of worms than what my grandpa did. So that's a little overview. I don't know if it quite answers when did it start, but it started and evolved, I would say, really got going in the 80s-ish, and then now it is a major factor in the necessary proaction with dairy cattle. Beef cows are getting that way to where they're needing more and more attention. Same theory with the beef. We're asking them to make faster growing calves. We're trying to finish animals a lot sooner than they naturally would. We're pushing the envelope on growth, is what it comes down to, growth and production. So if that answers your question, Kathy, I hope it does. Hope everybody got a little bit of education out of that one, and tune in for another answer to another question. Have a wonderful day.